Because the thing is like the things that are keeping us back, that are keeping us stuck, that are holding us, that are keeping us hurting, once we see them and are aware of them, that's the end of them moving out, right? That's the end of the process. But, we live with these things and don't see them so much of the time. Welcome to Energetics with Kim and Veronica, where we invite you to nourish the energy of your inner why, your inner healing, magic, prosperity, your curiosity, clarity, playfulness. Welcome home. Welcome everyone to the Energetics podcast. This is Veronica and I'm with my gorgeous partner, Kim. Hello, Kim.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here. Welcome back if you've been here before, and hello if you haven't been here before.
Yeah.
You're here now.
Yes, every participation is welcome. If you're listening, if you're watching, if you're with us for 10 seconds or 30 minutes, we appreciate you and you are contributing to whatever comes forth. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I've been going on this, Kim and I have been doing this for decades, right? The inner work for ourselves personally and facilitating for others. And for me, and I'm sure for Kim too, it's like you go through phases of different things that you're going deep on or playing with or trying on or testing out, and some things cycle back and some things are new and fresh. And I'm in a phase right now of working with a healer and coach who I really greatly deeply appreciate, and she's helping me to go deep on some beliefs and some wounds and some things that I've attached myself to for the last several decades, probably, that are no longer needed as I'm looking to make a transition in my life. And it really helps to work with somebody because they can help you get to things that you can't see. So whether it's, a healer or a coach or whatever it is that you choose, it's really helpful sometimes to have somebody facilitate for you, because if we could see it, we would just heal it, right? So it's nice to have somebody help bring things to the surface that you're ready to let go of or move beyond, so that you can make that transition and go deep. Because the thing is like the things that are keeping us back, that are keeping us stuck, that are holding us, that are keeping us hurting are, once we see them and are aware of them, that's the end of them moving out, right? That's the end of the process. But, we live with these things and don't see them so much of the time. I feel like it's a lifetime of healing and evolution, healing and evolution, healing and evolution, and actualizing. It's never really ending, at least not for me. And so I think it really is helpful. And so I've been going on this deep, one-on-one journey. And I said to Kim today, my brain feels like mush because we went deep today and I was crying and I was cleansing and releasing, and when things shake up energetically, now my brain doesn't have a framework. That framework is like, okay, things are changing, right? That framework that was locked in, I no longer have a frame of reference. So my brain is feeling very, very mushy. And we thought it could be an interesting topic to explore a little bit.
Absolutely. Thank you for being willing to share your experience, because that was just how long ago? A couple hours ago?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was just a few hours ago.
Cool. And so when you were sharing with me about this experience, one of the things that you had said was you went into the session not even thinking that you had anything. And so when she asked, "What do you want to work on?" It was like, don't really have anything. The next thing you know, you're mush, right? And so that can be the thing. So for me, I work with people. I don't wait always until I have something that I think I need to work with, because sometimes, like, that's the stuff that I'm aware of. But oh my God, what about the stuff I'm not aware of? The stuff that I'm not aware of is kind of like the stuff that's feeding the dog under the table, right? And so when I work with the stuff that I don't even know what's there, and I don't go looking for it either, right? Because usually there's something right in front of our faces. But yeah, so instead of waiting until we think we've got something to work on, sometimes the incredible sessions are when you truly don't think you have anything to work on, because now there's nothing in the way of getting into the nooks and crannies, right? Because otherwise this is right here, it's in my face, and this thing that's been sitting back here going, oh my God, when's it going to be my turn? And then so like all of a sudden when we don't have, the other surfacey things, which listen, I'm not saying surfacey as in they're surfacey because they're not. Listen, I do ugly cry when I hit places and become it's easy for me to do ugly cry. I could show you what that looks like, but I don't want to scare you. But and but yeah, no, and that's what I love. That's why I was like, oh my God, Veronica, let's bring that to the table today and play with that because yeah, we can get to some really, really, really deep stuff, especially when we think we've not got nothing going on. Now I know some people who'd be like, yeah, no, I don't want to, I'm fine right now. I'm having a good day. Leave me alone. And that's cool too. There's no right or wrong way to do this stuff. However, just know that those can be magnificent moments. Any moment can be a magnificent moment to go beyond the beyond. And so, yeah, I thank you so much for being willing to share about that, Mrs. Veronica Rose Arrows. I
Yeah,
love it.
and I
And go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, like I live because I've been, working inwardly for so many years. I've done so much healing and so much transformational work, so much empowerment work. I live primarily from a space of peace and ease and bliss and gratitude. And it's not that that stuff doesn't come up, it does, of course, but that's not my baseline. My baseline is now like that really peaceful, beautiful space of living life and deep appreciation for everything that comes my way. And so but the reason that I knew that I needed someone, or it was an appropriate time for me to invite somebody in to facilitate for me, was that I'm not where I want to be, right? Like I see where I am and I want to
Right.
be somewhere else, and so there's a gap. And if there's a gap, there's a reason that I'm not there, that I'm here instead. And so sometimes you're seeking to work with
Mm,
somebody because you're feeling like a deep pain, or you're feeling really stuck, or you're feeling like you really need to heal something. Or in this case, for me right now, at this point in time in my life, I'm not in that place, but I'm in a place where there's a gap. And so what is preventing me from being where I desire to be right now? And so there's something within me and I can't see it. So you have a facilitator that can bring it all up, and with it comes all the emotions and the release, and it's beautiful, and it hurts, and it's beautiful, and it hurts, and it's beautiful, right? And then as your body is integrating the changes, it's like, whew, I don't know my frame of reference anymore. But really releasing into the process, allowing your body, allowing your heart to move you through the process of birthing, of healing, of whatever it is, instead of the mind really understanding it. I think it's really helpful to surrender to the body, to the mind, to the body and to the heart, instead of having the mind having to see it all and figure it all out, if that makes sense.
it makes total sense because so often we want to make it all mean something and what it's going to look like now, right? We have no idea. Like you said, you have no frame of reference for it. So this is where this kind of reminds me of, when you're a kid and you're looking at, a fair with all the rides. It's really exciting and it's scary and you kind of think you know what it might be like when you get there, but you really don't. So that's part of the excitement. And so it kind of reminds me of that. It's like, yeah, so now there can be this kind of open uh, curiosity where, ooh, wonder what this will create. It's kind of like we talked in one of our episodes of, a lot of us are letting go in the dream time, and it can show up as a nightmare. It can show up as this, that, and the other thing. Well, instead of sitting there and then trying to figure out, for me, I'm kind of like, ooh, cool. I wonder what I let go of there. Because every time, we're letting go of something, right? I don't have to try to figure that out, right? I can if I want to. Often it's just a rabbit hole for me. And so it's like, oh, I don't know what I let go of, but I wonder what I was letting go of. And in that letting go, what's really cool is, ooh, I wonder what I just created more space for. right? Because now I'm creating more space for my own embodiment, my own divine essence, whatever you want to call that, right? And so making more space for what is true for me as I let go of the outdated stuff that might have been true for me yesterday, right? It's not a wrongness, right? Might have been true for me yesterday. Doesn't mean it works for me today, right? Remember one day we took off the training wheels on our bike. Those training wheels were so incredibly required at the time, right? It was a tool that we used, and then we got rid of the training wheels. We didn't try to figure any of that out. We got rid of the training wheels. But we needed it at some time. And so, yeah, all of the stuff that we got going on, it served us at some time, perhaps. You know, all of our own judgments, all of our own stuff. How would a judgment about myself serve me? Well, hey, if I have some unhidden belief in there that if I get too bright and shiny, I'll be on the cross like what they did to Jesus, then there's going to be a part of me that decides it's not safe to be all bright and shiny because look what they did to Jesus, right? Or what they did to the witches. So I'm going to create a part of me that judges me from being so bright and shiny. Well, let's take off the training wheel, right? I don't need that anymore. The world doesn't need that anymore. But anyway, that's where I just went with that.
I love it. It's so cute. The other thing I'd like to explore a little bit is, in the coaching, healing, self development, self empowerment industry, there are, folks are really selling their services, which is so beautiful and so relevant and so appropriate. And at the same time, sometimes it can confuse us because it, a lot of times when we're selling, we're saying this is the one, this is the thing, right? And so we
Mm,
get confused because we think maybe, well, this is the modality I need. This is the modality I need. No, maybe it's that one. Oh, this is the healer I need. This is the coach that I need. And sometimes it can get confusing because we sometimes think it has to be one, right? And I think one of the
right.
things, Kim, that you and I have explored and really have understood for ourselves is that it's not one and done. Maybe it is for some people, and if that's the case, if it's like this is the modality, it's worked for me for 20 years, I don't want to try anything else because that's it, then that's beautiful. This is the healer, this is the coach, that's great. But for us, for both of us, it's really been that it's not one modality, and it could be one modality for 10 years, it could be one modality for 1 month, and that's beautiful. And we also really embrace the exploration of other modalities, and different modalities do different things for us, right? If I do breath work, that does one thing for me. If I do EFT, or what is it, Psych K that you used to do, or they all can do different things and play different roles. And so sometimes we get confused through that selling process, that we think, ooh, it's this, it's that. And we get into this energy of needing it. Like I feel like I need it to fix something within me, instead of like almost a desire of, actually, I'm whole in who I am. And yet I desire to heal, to release, to expand, to evolve, to explore. And so through the desire, I can desire to sign up for something or purchase something or go through a process. And so I think that's a really important distinction, because sometimes we get really caught up and feel like we need this one thing. And I don't truly believe that. I think it's all within us, but the modalities and the other people that can guide us are there as a beautiful blessing and gift, and it can change and evolve over time.
I agree. And you know what? There's diversity and unity, right? It doesn't have to be this or that. You know, as you were talking, it kind of reminds me of, when you first get into this kind of stuff, like you said, that's abundance. There's an abundance of different choices and different ways and different healers and different coaches and all the things. And it can be overwhelming. And that's okay, right? It's kind of like, imagine taking a kid for their first time ever to a Toys R Us store and telling them they can pick out one thing, right? That's
For life.
overwhelming, right? Right. So that's what. So we are like the kid in the Toys R Us store, and all this stuff. And it's like, oh no, what do I choose? And thing is, for me, it's about really often for me, it's easy for me to jump, oh my God, this, oh my God, that. So I can be in two, three, four different trainings at a time, right? And I'm that person that I don't do anything half-heartedly. I commit, right? So for me, I pause. I have to take a little pause, right? Often. Now, there's sometimes that I jump anyway. I still do that. But yeah, I've learned for me to pause and really sit, like take that pause. Um, and if it's still a really big pull of energy for me, and the energy is still, so that's how I choose somebody. And guess what? There is no wrong choice when it comes to who or what type of program. It's kind of like when somebody says, my grandbaby said, "Hey, I'm gonna get a tattoo," and I'm like, "Cool." Um, she's 16 and she said, "I'm gonna get a tattoo." I'm like, "Cool." I said, "Whatever it is that you're looking at getting, just sit with it for a few months, kind of thing. And if you still want that same thing in the same spot a few months later, then." Right? But in other words, not doing the what do they call it? The spur of the moment kind of thing. Hey, listen, I've done that many times. We all probably have. Doesn't mean I still don't, right? Hey, this is a learning process for us too. But not sure where I was going with that. But yeah, so there is an abundance of everything out there, and it's trying it on. Try it on and see what works for you and what doesn't. And guess what? If you try something on and it wasn't it, doesn't mean you made a wrong choice. You just choose again because you would have gotten something out of that, even if it's for you to recognize, I kind of knew not to do it and I did it anyway, right? And so, yeah, cool. And
Exactly.
and so the other thing I want to bring in is about you and your mush brain, right? So in the process of I don't even know what to call. So what would you call it? In the process of what you've just experienced, right? A session that blew your
I
mind
released a
open,
lot.
blew your heart open. Yeah, that can look different for so everybody, right? And so for you, how would you describe? You said your brain is
Yeah. And
mushy.
I was crying a lot, right? I was releasing a lot. And so my brain feels mushy. It's like, it feels foggy. It feels, and I think, there are pieces that I've been holding on to for a long time that now are not within me. And so now my, my being, my psyche is recalibrating and finding its new ground. And so through that, I'm feeling foggy, not in a bad way, just in a like, oh, I don't, what are we talking about today? I don't know.
Yeah,
Kind of
I
in
love
that
it.
way. Yeah.
And yeah, and so I love how you went into this session, like I said, thinking, well, I don't really have anything to work on today. And you showed up anyway, and you just allowed it to unfold. You allowed it to happen. Because I could go to a session, and be like, no, I don't have anything to work today, and stand in that ground. No, no, not that, right? And so what's beautiful is again, as we shared in the beginning, you let go of stuff you did not even know was there. And so that would create a whole different wiring, right? So again, like we were saying, if you had showed up with 5 things to work on or something specific, perhaps you might not have gotten to the stuff you did get to. And so my point being, just because you don't think you have something to work on, show up anyway, right? Create that space anyway. And as the stuff is coming up, oh my God, it is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. And so other ways. So what are some other ways? So for me, what can happen is again, I can do the ugly tears, right? Some people don't want to leave their house, and there's so many different ways that people might experience and feel. after a session where so much inner transformation happens, the geometry is shifting, the DNA is unraveling, all of the things start to come online that were blocked by the things that you know you let go of. I think everybody's going to experience. Some people are exhausted after. Some people are so full of light after. So I think the point here being is how we feel after a huge transformational and transmutational session is going to be different for each person every time, possibly, right? Um, so yeah, and so it's not an expectation, oh, I don't want to go too deep because, I'm scared of it. Get excited about what's on the other side of that stuff, right? And so there could be more space. It could be an evening of I'm just gonna sit wrapped in a blanket and watch TV. It could be that too. And yeah, and so whatever your self-care is for that, it might be being out with people, it might be whatever it is. And nurturing yourself could be a hot bath. But yeah, some people are going to cry, some people are going to laugh after all of this. And yeah, I know people that, you would not want them getting in their car and driving after they've done a session, what like you've just experienced, Veronica, because like you said, your brain is mush, right? Whereas other people, they're like, boom. And so everybody's different and each session is different. So thank you for being so willing to be vulnerable and share your mushy brain. I love your mushy brain.
My brain is mushy. Yeah, and really it's about honoring the process, whatever that is, even, allowing it to be different than what you were expecting or what you were hoping for, and then allowing your body, your heart, your mind to process and integrate afterwards in the way that it desires to, instead of, expecting that it's going to look a certain way or feel a certain way. I think that releasing into the process and releasing into the integration is really key for transformation, because if we start to try to measure up your experience to what your mind thought it was going to be, then we don't expand and evolve as much as maybe we would like to. The other thing
Yeah,
that
I
I
agree.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, because then we're in control of the thing, right? And some people might be so afraid of even going there because of what they think it's going to look like. So go ahead, I've cut you off, sorry.
No, you're good, because I was going to change topics just a little bit. The other thing that
Do
I
it.
wanted to share is that, when we're letting go of really strong beliefs or really strong wounds that we've, or blueprints, if you will, that we've carried around for a long time, our mind can fight really hard as they're starting to release, like, because that's what
Mm,
your mind knows, it's comfortable. And so one of the things that I've noticed that I've had to be really mindful of is sometimes in a session my mind will start to be very critical of the facilitator, or, because it's holding on, it's like it doesn't want to let go, so it can criticize the process, it can start to say nothing's happening here, what, she doesn't know what she's doing, she doesn't know what she's talking about. And so I think it's very helpful to notice, whether you're in a group coaching program or whether you're in a one-on-one session, just be very mindful of your mind really fighting to hold on to what it knows. It likes what it knows, and it's not serving you, which is why it's ready to release. But sometimes your mind can really try to fight hard, and it does that through the criticism or judgment or fear, like fear of, like, what, who am I going to be after this? And so I think it's really helpful. I notice myself doing that sometimes, where I'll start to feel critical of the facilitator, critical of the process, critical of the modality, and I have to really check myself and watch it.
and so what do you do with that since you just were coming out and you're so fresh and shining? What do you, when you notice that, then what?
I'm at a place now where I can, like, laugh at it and separate myself from my mind, right? But that's taken, years and years to be able to do that. So it depends on where you're at with your journey and your awareness of it. Once you can start to become aware, you can kind of separate. You can kind of, like, allow your body and your heart to take lead instead of your mind, and you can just recognize your mind for what it is and have grace for your mind and
Yeah.
allow it to, and that really tends to tighten the grip that it has.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Because you know what? Yeah, we've talked about this in different episodes as well when you brought in the laughter piece. So for me, I actually will say to myself, oh my God, I'm doing that thing again. I'm so friggin' hilarious. Right? So I mean, and look at how many years have we all heard laughter is the best medicine? Okay, cool. So learn to laugh at yourself a little bit, and just go, oh my God, because it's just a habit, right? The mind, all that stuff. We put all those thoughts and things in place again to protect us from whatever we thought we needed to be protected from at the time. Doesn't matter what it was, right? But we can just go, oh my God. So we're recognizing, oh, that's just, voice. Doesn't mean it's actually true. Doesn't mean it's actually, oh, look at me doing that thing again. I'm hilarious. It's just, that's all it is. But exactly. And so that was a big process for me as well, was recognizing when I was doing that and kind of calling it out, but not in a judgy way, more in a way of, oh my God, look at me, look at that, doing that thing again, I'm hilarious, right? And that's about it. That's it. No more attention than that. And that's it, right? And then I come back to the thing. So I don't go down the rabbit hole with the thing that I'm laughing at. I go, oh, doing that thing again, I'm friggin' hilarious. And then I come back over here. And we can start doing that even when we're, I don't know, what just popped in my mind or my awareness was even when we're driving. Notice when we're uh, pissed off at the other drivers, or why are they doing that? Why are they taking so long? Why are they slowing down? Why are they going so fast? Why did blah, all that stuff, right? If we can notice our own thoughts, even in those, in our daily moments, noticing our thoughts and going, oh my God, because otherwise it all takes it's we've allowed ourselves to go down the rabbit hole with all of that. So even when those little mundane things that seem like big things at the time, if we can just notice them in our daily lives, right? And just go, oh my God, I'm hilarious. I'm doing that thing again, right? It can pull us out of that rabbit hole and back to what we want to, what we would like to focus on instead.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Your mind, your brain is just one aspect of you. It's one part of you. But especially in North America, they say, North America is the brain of the earth, right? It's up top. So we can really get caught in our mind. So really dropping into your body, your heart,
right.
your being.
Cool. All right,
Amazing.
lovely.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for letting me process and share. And thanks, Kim, for partnering with me, and thank you everyone for listening, and we appreciate your sharing, your subscribing, your comments, your likes, all of the things. It helps us out tremendously. So anything you're willing to do, please, we invite you to do that. And you can always reach out to us through any of those modes we shared before, if you want to get in touch. So much love. Thank you, everyone.
Yay. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Veronica.